All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Ignore that date up there at the top. All right, 3.4. Solving equations using multiplication or division. So the other day we just did addition, subtraction. Our work is going to be somewhat similar where we want to keep it balanced. We were trying to solve for our variable. The check is even possible again, but again, we're just going to go ahead and solve using multiplication or division. So I can solve one-step equations using multiplication or division. Keeping it balanced, just like when we added something on both sides, subtracted something on both sides. This time we're going to multiply on both sides. Now there's a few ways to show that. You can use the little dot, you can use parentheses. Please do not use an x though, because remember x is a variable and we're solving equations that contain the variables. Balance out like we said already. Our division, just like multiplication, we could divide both sides. So maybe we divide both sides by 2, 3, -4. Being careful with the negative signs. All right, here we go. So we're going to solve for c over 8 is equal to -7. We'll check our solution. So one thing I like to remind my students is, let me get my little pen writing, is if you'd like to, you can go ahead and put the little 1 in front of the c. So let me see if it shows up. Nope, not yet. Put the little 1 in front of the c. And then in order to get c alone, or solve for c, to isolate the variable, however you like to phrase it, I need to go ahead and multiply. Because again, this fraction line means division. So to undo division, I'm going to use multiplication. So I'm going to put a little dot or parentheses, and I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. So the reciprocal of 1 over 8 would be 8 over 1. So I personally like using parentheses, and I'm going to go ahead and do that on both sides. Again, parentheses just looks a little bit better to me, and I'm using the full reciprocal because instead of 1 over 8, it might really be 5 over 8. And remember, at that point, I would be looking for cross-canceling. With these little ones, though, there's no cross-canceling going on. So I know that c is going to be equal to -56. So when I do my check again, I'm going to take the original problem. At the c location, I'm going to go ahead and substitute -56. So instead of c divided by 8, -56 divided by 8. Now again, here we need to go ahead and remember a negative divided by a positive is a negative. And we're going to get -7. Now again, I personally don't like that long line there, but if you like that to keep it balanced, go for it. Multiply both sides by the reciprocal. All right, so for this one again, the division line, or the fraction line, means division. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply by the reciprocal. So I'm going to put a little 1 here. I'm going to go ahead and put a little 1 here with parentheses, both sides. Now again, the ones really don't matter right now, but later on they will. So on the left side, the -5's cross cancel, so it's just x is equal to, and then on the right side we're going to multiply. A -2 multiplied by a -5 is a 10. So when we do our substitution for the check again, we're going to go ahead and place the positive 10 at the x location. Now again, some of you may be wondering, why do I keep checking? It's really designed when they get more complicated. So if you can practice the checking now, you'll be even better when the equations get more complicated. Positive 10 divided by -5 is -2. Everything checks out, so that is our answer. Oops. All right, for this one, if you notice, it says negative 5p, which is thought to be as negative 5 multiplied by the value of p. So if we think of this as multiplication, then we must solve by dividing. And I'm going to go ahead and divide by whatever is the coefficient of p, which again simply means the number in front of p. So if you notice, it's a negative 5. So I'm going to go ahead and divide both sides by negative 5. Now, on the left side, negative 5 divided by negative 5 is just positive 1p, but we say p is equal to. On the right side, a negative divided by negative is a positive. 32 over 5 cannot reduce, so we can go ahead and leave it as 32 over 5, or we can change it to a decimal, 6.4, or you could even have a mixed number. In 8th grade, we leave it as 32 over 5. 7th grade, again, we like decimals and mixed numbers. Now, the reason we are suggesting a decimal on this one is because when I check it, it's going to be a lot easier to check with a decimal. Because really, it's just elementary math when you do multiplication of decimals. So I know that a negative multiplied by a positive is a negative answer. So we're going to try and get negative 32. So again, you just go off to the side and you do your 6.4 multiplied by 5. 4 times 5 is 20. You know how to do that. It does give us negative 32. Now, what you don't want to do, though, is just assume, which means you don't even do the check, or maybe you pretend to kind of do this multiplication and you just write negative 32 equals negative 32. Trust me, that's not going to work out every single time because some students make mistakes, especially with those signs. So please be very careful. All right, we've got negative a is equal to 24. Now remember, on our work, it is appropriate. In fact, it is preferred if we put that little 1 there. So let's see, does it show up? Yeah. So write it as negative 1a. So if you remember what we did on the previous problem, I divided both sides by negative 5. So it means this time I'm going to go ahead and divide both sides by negative 1. So on the left side, divides out, gives me a nice a equals. On the right side, a positive 24 divided by negative 1 is a negative 24. You'd be surprised how many times students mess up when it just says negative a. They forget what to really divide by. Quick check again. Oh, look at right there on the right side, or the left side, sorry, a negative multiplied by negative. Or really adding the opposite, right? 24 is 24. Ooh, did you see the little 1 pop up, though? That might be helpful. Negative 1 multiplied by negative 24 is positive 24. Checks out. Excellent. Okay, this is the one that we were talking about to really make sure you are prepared for the multiplying by the reciprocal. Because if you notice, it says negative 3 over 4c, not like negative 1 over 4. So fraction line means division, so I'm going to use multiplication. Going to multiply. There's the parentheses. So yes, we like the parentheses. The reciprocal, again, is negative 4 over 3. Put that on both sides. And I'm going to put that little 1 there, here, so that I can show cross-canceling. So on the left side, a negative multiplied by a negative is a positive. The 3's cross-cancel, 4's cross-cancel. So I get a c is equal to. And then on the right side, I also cross-cancel with the 3 and the 18. The 3 becomes a 1, and the 18 becomes a 6. So now I can ignore the 1's at the denominator, and 6 multiplied by negative 4 is negative 24. Don't put the 1 at the bottom. It's just negative 24. So in other words, you can skip this whole little line there for less writing, because we know negative 24 divided by 1 is just negative 24. All right, when you check it again, be very careful. Substitution. On the left side, I know a negative multiplied by negative is a positive. Cross cancel the 4 and the 24. 4 becomes 1, 24 becomes 6. Negative multiplied by negative, we already said is positive. 3 times 6 is 18. Checks out. Again, one of the biggest mistakes right here would be saying it was positive 24. So when you were checking it, you would notice it's not going to work with a positive 24. Excellent, excellent. I really like that problem. All right, so I'm going to ask you to go ahead and set this one up and see how far you can get. You know, I'm going to ask you to pause the video. So once you have it set up, pause the video, give your best shot, and then start the video. All right, welcome back. If you actually paused it, now you are ready to see what I'm going to do. So again, it means, the fraction line means division, so I'm going to use multiplication. I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal, both sides. See, does the little one show up? We'll see. 2's cross cancel, 3's cross cancel, which gives me A is equal to, on the right side, good, one did show up. The 2 and the 12 can cross cancel, but you notice the signs already, it's going to be a negative answer. Sometimes students, when they cross cancel, they cross out the negative sign as well. So negative 6 times 3 is negative 18. Again, don't worry about putting the fraction line 1 because we know it's already just negative 18. Quick substitution for the check. Again, if going too quick, you could always back the video up. All right, cross cancel. 2 multiplied by negative 6 is negative 12. Checks out, looks good. All right, one more. Ooh, word problem. Emmanuel spent $116 on boxes of baseball cards. I used to buy baseball cards all the time. Way too much money went into it. He paid $14.50 per box. Write and solve an equation to find how many boxes of cards Emmanuel bought. So the total is $116, paid $14.50 per box. So that means it would be $14.50 multiplied per box, right? Maybe B for box for a variable. We're going to write the equation and then solve the equation. 8th graders do this all the time. Let's see here. So B, we're going to say, is the boxes of baseball cards, so that's a great variable there. $14.50 multiplied by the number of boxes that he bought is going to be equal to the $116. Perfect. So we have written our equation. Now to solve the equation, 14.5b, that means multiplied by b. So the inverse operation is dividing. So I'm going to go ahead and divide by 14.5 on both sides. So the number of boxes bought is equal to, well, we're just going to do some basic division. Now I do know, Very nice. Because I was going to say 10 boxes would be too much, right? Because that'd be $145. So you could always just go to the side, do your division. Most of you are probably going to use your calculator. So 8 boxes. Ooh, that was kind of quick. All right, so the next day again, we're going to put these two ideas together. All right, go ahead and be awesome on your worksheet.